we feel how privileged we are that, we have none of these problems. What is it like to go through that, living another woman who's going through so much?
I remember I used to do the cop bit in half a day and the undercover in half the day, the preceding day, and that's when it hit me.
Then Ashram happened.
Yes.
That was again, your parts, you steal the show, you own it. We were all discussing before you came what all you've done and all that.
Right.
What were the learnings from that one?
Prakash sir is a school to learn from, of course.
He is a great filmmaker.
Yes, and one thing, honestly, Rohit, I've realized from these big makers, like known makers who have been there for decades, that they don't really direct you.
So many actresses came from North and from Delhi and other places, went and did Tamil and Telugu movies, then came to Bollywood. That was pretty much the route many of them took.
Yes.
You did Hindi.
The opposite. Exactly. In the interviews there, they're asking me the same thing, that, people usually take this route and how have you taken the other way down? Hi, this is Aaditi. You're watching this interview with Rohit and me on Bollywood Hungama.
Aaditi, welcome to Bollywood Hungama.
Hi, thank you.
I'm very excited to do this interview because I've been watching your work since a long time and I really thought the way you performed in She, the way you performed in Ashram was exceptional. You totally owned those roles and I was like, who is this actress? I want to meet her.
How sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. So I'm going to take you back. I've been watching your interviews, reading about you. Personally, Aditi, life has been quite tough.
Yeah.
How have you dealt with that? Losing parents is not easy.
Yes.
Firstly, how have you dealt with your life? Because today you're so successful and we all, I've gone through the same thing. We all, when we do well, that's the first thing we think that, I wish my parents were there to see that.
Yes, certainly, Rohit. So, I'll start with my journey where I usually have spoken about this in a couple of interviews. I don't know, maybe you know or not, but the whole journey of me becoming an actress was completely off track, I would say. Off track, why? Because I was a track and field runner. I was a runner for many years, 7 years since my childhood. I was a 100, 200 meter sprinter. And at one point, it so happened that my mom, she was a CA/ICWA teacher. She was a chemical engineer and she was a teacher. She used to teach with guarantee. Like, she used to tell people that अगर आपका बच्चा CA पास नहीं होता है तो आप छोड़ जाइए यहाँ पे, और for sure in the third, fourth attempt also, everybody used to just clear through. So there were people like, our kachre wala son, then the fruit vendor's son, that kind of thing, who have become chartered accountants with my mom's tuitions. So this was her repute. And at that point of time, I don't know why, she said to me that, you have to study well because you are my daughter and you have to excel in what you do, especially mathematics.
How old were you then?
I must be 15.
15, okay.
Yeah. So what she expressed to me was that, I want to see you on a hoarding, And I said, okay. And I was just like maybe doing something, I don't know what, but it stayed with me. And what she said was that you have to excel so that I see you on a hoarding. Wow. And it so happened that she, I don't know exactly how it coincided or what happened. Maybe because life is serendipity, that it goes one after the other. It's a domino effect and we don't realize it. We think that we are the ones who are, manipulating our events, our plans, which actually is not in our hands. Right. It's all happening. It's really happening with the sunrise to the sunset, to the night, to the morning again. And we are just going through our journey step by step, So when she just suddenly passed away out of fever in about 3-4 days. But she had expressed this to me about, say, a year ago or something. She had said this to me over and so that, I study. What she meant was that she wanted to see me on a bus hoarding, which was like...
student.
all this, Agarwal classes and these classes and those classes. और ऐसे बच्चे होते हैं ना उनके वो वाली शक्ल में ऐसे वाले और आपको लगता है कि अरे बेचारे कैसे मतलब कितना पढ़ाई किया है बस के होर्डिंग पे आने के लिए इन लोगों ने that kind of thing. And she meant that. And this I realized much later, but because of her sudden demise, I was in a shock, and that shock went into... I was 15, around 15, Okay. So I went into that shock, turned into euphoria because of that, that early teens that you are in. You are completely crazy. And I was a runner, so I was a very intense personality because I used to only do track and field day and night, So as I got hit by the fact of life, which is death, I took it maybe in a way that never could have I have imagined or my father would have imagined at that point of time. I went very quiet about it. I went very subtle about it. There was no dramatic movements of me behaving in a certain way or something. But what she said that I wanted to, yeah, it stayed with me. And when it stayed with me, I started looking at avenues to fulfill it, because this became my only goal, only motivation to survive. Because until and unless I did that, I didn't grieve. I didn't have a motivation to sit and cry and think that, oh, something has happened that should touch me. Nothing would touch me. I had become like pretty much like water runs over plastic, it was like that. So
For a longer period?
For about a year's time, until like I quickly like executed my ideas and I went to Prithvi Theatre soon after that, and I got. Now, that's what I'm saying, that how life takes you forward, that it's because it happened with so much intensity, and I was in that cocoon of making sure that I go on this path, I figure this out, I come on a hoarding and move on in life. That was my goal. That was my only goal.
That was your reason to go for theatre?
Yes, that's the reason I went to Prithvi Theatre, in that craziness. Like in Marathi they say Ved. Ved means complete Vedi, Purna Vedi, like that. I went in that euphoria. I met Makarand Deshpande. I asked him, will you teach me? This is my story. This is what it is. He got so amazed by the way I just said it very clinically. Like, this is what I have to do for my mom, and this is what I feel, and that's why I want to be here. And he was like, oh, what a poor little thing, it's so tough to be on this path. It is, because it is being an actor, but he never dismissed it or demotivated me, because he's also a believer of life. Because life can happen to you at any moment, at any time, and surprises are always the elements for you to go further, fulfill your desires, be in a moment of joy, happiness, everything that we are supposed to feel as human beings, right? And art is a completely reflection of that. It's like, आप छाछनी में अगर जलेबी को डुबाते हो तो वो छाछनी क्या है? तो एक्टर अपने आप को एक तरीके से लाइफ की उसमें छाछनी में डुबो के वही अनुभवों को आप प्रेजेंट करते हो लोगों तक, so if you don't have experience, how will you emote? I don't understand this at all, and I came from that part of how to say, maybe because of my mother's demise, I came from that grieving situation where I said that now if I've taken this up, and I actually quit running, I stopped running because I was in.
Why did you quit running?
Because I could not live in that space anymore, and I said,
to change that completely.
I wanted to change it, and I wanted to just fulfill this dream, and I said, this is what is on my first agenda, this to-do list. And yes, then Lay Bhari happened soon after.
Yes.
I came on a hoarding, and that way I did a children's play.
Yeah, what was that like when the first hoarding goes up, which was your mother's dream, you wanted that.
Yes.
What was that? What did you do that day?
I honestly, that day, my mom and me used to do this thing. We used to go on a scooty. So I went on that same scooty and I went around town, and there were hoardings all over, and I saw her dream come true. And actually wasn't really her dream, but that's what happened.
But still,
And there were hoardings all over, Rohit, at the ceiling and everywhere, and there were like 3, 4 of them.
It's a huge achievement to get that, it's a great achievement to get that.
I guess. And then I could never go back to becoming who I envision myself to be. Like, for example, I wanted to do an MBA, and I wanted to be in a corporate zone and all that, but once I realized that the power of an actor, especially at a stage like Prithvi Theatre, where people move with your emotion, people breathe your breath, literally. People are moving according to what you are moving into an emotional space, as well as life for those 2 hours, 3 hours, So you are actually becoming a part of God, where you're recreating what God has created for that moment of time. And you are enjoying it at the same time, you're living it at the same time, and you're not, my whole idea of enjoying theatre was escaping my reality, because the pain had still not gone. Of course, the achievement didn't make any sense to me, but the pain had not gone, so the release of that was through art. Through theatre. And that's how I became an actress. That's what happened.
If someone had met the young Aaditi, and today they come and meet this Aaditi, who's an actor, who's famous, you're a celebrity. What are the, do you see a big difference yourself, like in your personality?
Certainly, like I was saying it to someone that there is a song in Marathi called Ti Geli by Hridaynath Mangeshkar ji, and it says, ती geli Temah Rimjim when it was raining. Yeah. And then few other lines, and it says Balapan Gele Maze. Like my childhood went when the moment she went. So irrespective of how old you are or whether you're a child or not, when you lose a parent, especially a mother, that's when you grow up, you know, Rohit. Suddenly you become like an adult, and you feel like, oh, now I own my life. Shit, it's so boring, you know. I have to take care of everything now.
It is.
So yeah, I mean that's what happened then. And down the line, when I was shooting for She, my father passed away too. So I was I was aware of what happens, but again, this experience was new because it was another one. And then I moved on in my respective time with it. I took a whole year off literally because
that's a good thing, right? To just take your time
100%.
off and do what you want.
Yes. I feel that what are you here for? You're here for moments, right? So grieving mourning also is a moment of life, and I wanted to feel it completely rather than अरे मैं अभी ना कल ये हुआ परसों या 2 दिन में मैं फिर सेट पे जा रही हूँ. वो जा तो सकती हूँ मैं, पर मुझे उसको उतना रिस्पेक्ट देना था, अपने आप को उतना रिस्पेक्ट देना था, and I wanted to just value the human I am.
It's amazing how personally you have grown. I can just sense it and feel it when you're saying it. Then She happened, like She really took you to another level. It was a show with you. It was all about you. The way you performed was, I thought, spectacular. I told you, like, this was a show that was not a story based for me. For me personally, it was a performance based. It was all about you. While you were filming that, did you get a sense, this is my show, this is my totally
Honestly, I remember when Vijay got cast and I went to see who Sasya is, Imtiaz sir said, आओ Sasya की casting हो रही है देखते हैं. तो हम गए थे देखने. मुझे तब तक ना फील ही नहीं हो रहा था कि मैंने ऐसा कोई शो मैंने ये किया है, मतलब मैं कुछ कर रही हूँ. मुझे honestly जब तक रिलीज हुआ ना तब तक मुझे कुछ फील नहीं हुआ. I just felt like I was given a script and I did that script. That's it. I mean, and the whole journey with Imtiaz sir was so fascinating. The rehearsals and the constant talk over Bhumi क्या करेगी, Bhumi ये इस वक्त क्या करेगी, Bhumi क्या पहनेगी, क्या सोचेगी, या तुम्हें क्या लगता है if she's so thundy or asexual और ज़्यादा slower and you're like slower, oh ज़्यादा slow मत करना, oh shit ज़्यादा slow मत करना, तो क्या करना है. तो that whole process, and I feel for an actor, honestly, process is what it is. Because once you are on set, it's just an execution, right? The process is the fun part where you can plus minus dive into it, dive out of it, do this or do that, or maneuver your character. I think that is the time where you actually enjoy as an actor. And then when you are on set, it's almost like, camera यहाँ है, हाँ वो वहाँ है. तो मैं prep में I believe a lot. I do a lot of rehearsals. If I don't have my director's time, I do it myself. So, but I grab it from life. I don't, I don't let it go because I think this is my moment of fun.
Right. Grabbing this, what you did in She from life is something else, because you also are living another woman who goes through so much in our very society, not too far from here. Like, these are women who go through this day in and day out. Even today, we may be in 2024, this is the biggest reality. We feel how privileged we are that, we have none of these problems. What is it like to go through that, living another woman who's going through so much?
Yeah, absolutely. So when, I remember I used to do the cop bit in half a day and the undercover in half the day, the proceeding day, and that's when it hit me that, oh man, what is Bhumi going through? And I got engulfed by her pain at that point of time, and I went so deep in it. Yes, as Aaditi also, one part of me went so deep in it that if you see some of the scenes where she's just sitting looking at the fish tank and all that, it became a reality for that time. And I had to understand that this is a script. So understand, you have to just play the part and not be that part, right? Because it's going to trouble me otherwise. But Bhumi's pain was so much at that point, and the way she was, as she was triumphing her pain, as she was overcoming her weaknesses for that matter, of her husband calling her asexual, or for that matter, her sister just demeaning her, as she was doing that, I was doing that. So there is a lot of me which has triumphed as a woman also.
I can imagine, because only then you delivered that performance. That's how it is. It's just amazing. Then Ashram happened.
Yes.
That was, that was again, your parts, you steal the show, you own it. We were all discussing before you came what all you've done and all that.
Right.
What were the learnings from that one?
Well, Prakash sir is a school to learn from, of course.
He is a great filmmaker.
Yes, and one thing, honestly, Rohit, I've realized from these big makers, like known makers who have been there for decades, that they don't really direct you. They tell you only certain things where you go wrong and they stop you. And initially I thought
he let you do.
He just let me do Pammi the way I knew Pammi, and he let me go through it. And many a times I've seen him watch कि ये कर क्या रही है. अगर इस तरीके से जा रहा है, then he moved that way. Literally.
Okay.
Yes. So it was so fascinating for me, and I remember that once I asked him, "Sir, मुझे कुछ करना है क्या आप बताइए?" And he's like, "तो तुम यहाँ पे क्यों हो? Why are you here? You are an actor, right? मैं तुम्हें क्या एक्टिंग सिखाने के पैसे दूँ? तुम खुद सीख के आई हो ना? तुम खुद करो." तो मैंने कहा, हाँ. What exactly is he saying, because there was initially started with learning Haryanvi, and then it went to a point where it was my mother and my brother was speaking little bit of Punjabi. My mother and father was speaking Punjabi. So he said, "Why are you speaking Haryanvi? You speak Punjabi." I said, "But I trained for Haryanvi for last 2 months. I've been training. So what do I do now?" He said, "I don't know. You figure it out." And I was like,
wow, what
crazy. Like, I love such people. They put that.
I know, but still.
It's little, overwhelming. But you know what I did? I made friends with the wrestler girls over there. Okay, because they were wrestling with me, and just such sweethearts. They're like small pandas. They come and sit next to each other, and just so strong. No, you feel so like good about them. So they said, "Didi, आप एक काम क्यों नहीं करते? आप आ जाओ. आपको सही वाली wrestler वाली आपको सही की जिंदगी जीनी है ना, तो आ जाओ hostel पे आ जाओ." तो मैं hostel पे चली गई उनके. And I remember the girls over there, when I watched, one girl threw like a cold bucket of water, thinking that one wrestler has come, a new wrestler has come. She had no idea.
Oh, she didn't know. Wow.
Not at all. And then these girls, she made me like, "आप दूध पियोगे?" I said, "कौन सा?" You didn't drink milk at that point, and she's like, "100 बादामों का दूध निकाल दो." And in like literally 10 minutes, उसने वो 100 बादामों का दूध निकाल करके मेरे को दिया.
And you were not worried as an actor, you wouldn't drink that?
No, nothing. I went ahead. I was like, whatever they teach me, they give me, I'll take it as life and I'll move forward.
Nice.
And then they had this one trunk full of, cheat day, like that kind of thing. Once in a month they would eat that, and it was Haldiram ka bhujia. Poor thing, they gave me that, once in a month. That's
wow, the luxuries we have.
Exactly, yeah. So these kind of things, you don't get to.
Right.
I got to live this life. I got to live Pammi's life. So it's fun.
Right. And then now Star happened,
Yes.
which is a huge one,
Yes,
and
yes.
You were called Chocolate Smile
Yes,
popularly. I can
yes.
imagine why.
Thank you.
That's a different language, different people, different region.
Right.
What was that like? Is it one? My simple question is, first question is it difficult because you don't know the language?
Romba difficult, I would say.
I can totally imagine.
Because obviously I have not known this language.
Yeah.
This region doesn't have that language speaking people. So when you come from, firstly, when I got to know that Bombay is North India, I was a little confused. I was like, girls from apparently who are not South Indians, south side of India, you are North Indians. So I said, but I'm not from North India, I'm from Mumbai. Mumbai is Central India almost. North India. क्योंकि वो mostly girls are Punjabi there and things like that, right? So that was one major shock that Hindi is not spoken in Chennai, and it was such a shock that I wouldn't believe it, and I laughed and I said, as if, and they were like, "No, I don't speak Hindi." And I said, "Oh, are you serious?" And nobody speaks Hindi there. And I was like, now what do I do? अगर मुझे भाषा सीखनी भी है तो सीखूं कैसे? तो थोड़ी बहुत इंग्लिश टूटी फूटी बोल बोल करके हम लोग आगे बढ़े, So I had a 30-line monologue in this particular film.
My God.
Yes, and it was a very critical shot of a sun going down and things like that, and I had to speak that day itself.
How do you do a 30-line monologue if you don't know the language? What do you do on the set?
See, if I say it like right now also, like உங்களை பிடிச்சு இழுத்துட்டு தான் இருப்பாங்க நீங்க நடக்கிற வரைக்கும் ஒரு கையை மாட்டிட்டு பாருங்க பாருங்க இது நீ சொன்னது. So if I say, these are like just 4-5 lines, right? So it goes on. And initially when I learned, and if I say this in front of a Tamil person, he'll say, not saying it with feeling. I'm like, but I'm saying it.
According to me, you're perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I was like, okay. When the script came to me, I said, what is this? I asked the director. He's this young, bustling with energy kind of guy, Ilan. And I said, what is this? And I've known him. He's been my friend. And he's like, monologue. I said, no, that I know. But he's like, you like monologues, right? I said, but not in Tamil. I like it in Hindi. I can speak monologue in Hindi, 4 or 5 of them. What is this? And then he said, do it. You can do it. I said, but you are saying it. I can't do it. Why don't you like cut chop something and give me the like crux of it? Or then probably I'll just say something and you can take the lip sync later. And he's like, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to say it. So then मेरा पूरा बारिश का मौसम पिछला वाला वो monologue
amazing
पढ़ने में चला गया. I was looking at the rain and saying my lines. I would open the door, my sister would come and she's like, yeah, so you know, and I used to say, and she's like, I'm going, it's okay. I would talk to anybody in Tamil, literally like on the streets with my cat, everybody, because that's the only way you can do it with phonetics. Because if you don't understand, how do you do it?
This is the part people should understand, the tough part of acting when people realize that.
Yes, the tough part is very tough.
If you don't know the language, there's no...
Certainly. And I don't know how all these women who have done it, I don't know how they've done it.
Because, you know, that became... So many actresses came from North and from Delhi and other places, went and did Tamil and Telugu movies, then came to Bollywood. That was pretty much the route many of them took. You did Hindi
the opposite. Exactly. In the interviews there, they're asking me the same thing, that, you know, people usually take this route and how have you taken the other way down? So, yeah, because I think I like to explore, very honestly. Somebody told me that if you learn a new language, it detoxes your brain and all that. So I said...
Did it detox your brain?
I'm sure I've gotten sharper. I have less eyeline issues now. And I've become more focused.
You have the confidence to do it again, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Maybe I just went to the stride. Honestly, I like the character a lot. She's quite a steadfast woman who's always been, looked upon. She's a dainty girl, but at the same time very courageous and strong, and who makes her dream her boyfriend's dream, and then they get married, so her husband's dream, and then it becomes almost like she's living his dream, and for her that's enough. So I said, wow, ये पतिव्रता औरत कौन है, मुझे देखना है, because यहाँ पे मैंने बहुत से even the scripts that I've done, the 2-3 of them now, which will be out soon, they're very strong, and they're strong characters which are like portraying the strength of the the feminine side of a human being. That what I did over here was, I thought that is the feminine side, but when I did Surabhi, which is the character in Star, she's more of the docile and feminine side, which is portrayed by the I would say the culture there, the society there accepts women who are like that better. Like they like women more on the side of a giver, which also is nature's law, because women are more giving than men.
True.
Mother Earth is also giving, she's also she. So, wow, I'm making sense. Certainly.
Wisdom.
So, I mean, that's what I wanted to see, that who's this girl in, in this particular space, who's this girl, and where does she want to go with this kind of a dream in her mind. And I think I took that as a motive and went forward with the strength and the courage and the core qualities of a feminine being. And people have really liked this girl a lot there, and they're saying that...
you can see the coverage, the reviews. Amazing.
Right.
You know, and then now coming to your future projects, what do you want to tell us? What have you shot? What will release?
That's the problem. Now they tell me not to tell anything.
And I know.
I'm like,
where will we see you on the web, on a big screen? What have you shot?
Yes, I have shot web.
Okay.
And I will be hopefully shooting a big screen film soon. So that's one thing, but they just lock they just put a, Tom and Jerry mein hota hai na, how you put twigs in the eyes, like that they put twigs in my mouth, where I can't just move it.
Right.
So but soon the OTT ones which I've done, they are ready to be released soon. So I hope they are liked as much as she and Ashram, and let's see.
Nice. They will be liked. You know, what do you see yourself? What would you like to do? What do you see yourself doing in the coming years? People know who you are, you've achieved that, you've crossed that part where people don't know you or something, all that is over. Now people know you, they know your work, they know you can act, which is a very big deal, trust me. So now what do you want to do?
Well, honestly, I don't have a plan. I'm dependent on my makers who cast me, but I certainly have a ticklist of many
Yes,
makers.
ticklist batao. Yeah.
Yes, ticklist with Zoya Akhtar is
Yeah,
the next
okay,
ticklist.
next, yeah.
But yeah, I have a couple of directors who I
Who would
really
you like to
admire,
work with?
and I want to work with them. And there is Raju Hirani sir. There are so many directors here. Mani sir there.
Right.
There's Vetramaran sir in
Yeah.
Tamil again. But because I have loved their work and I've watched. I've been watching world cinema also. Like you know, for that matter, I watched Mirror in the lockdown, which is a Tarkovsky film, and I had to read a book to understand that film. And I then read it and I revisited and watched again. And Chaitanya
like
Tamane.
watching?
I like watching and enjoying something, not for like, I have so many friends who are filmmakers, budding filmmakers, keep watching all the time. They're like, क्या कर रहा है आज? फिल्म देख रहा हूँ, फिल्म देख रहा हूँ. ऐसे नहीं होता है, पर मेरे को कुछ फिल्में जो मैं जिनके साथ मैं जुड़ सकती हूँ, those kind of films I really like Roma. I loved Roma. I watched so many times. That 2-3 scenes which really captured me, you know. So anything to do with taking me ahead in life, because I feel, you know, honestly, Rohit, I feel life and art is hand in hand. Like it's almost hand in glove. And if you learn from life, you can put it in your abhinay, in your acting, in your performance. If you learn from your performance, you can use it in your life.
You're glad you started with theatre. That's what's made you the person you are. That's why you're talking the way you are.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. No, these are you've obviously had you know, you're saying you had no plan. This was somehow, somewhere, God made this plan for you. And the route that you took is incredible, because what theatre taught you is what we see in She and Ashram and everywhere.
Yes, yeah. Could be. Yeah.
It is, I guess. So best of luck. I really hope we see more of you. You are a really talented actor, and I told everyone, this is an interview I've been wanting to do since a long time.
Wow, I'm so happy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rohit. Hi, this is Aditi. You're watching this interview with Rohit and me on Bollywood Hungama.